Caught my wife and best friend about to betray me after a seemingly perfect year, now facing separation and shattered trust. My wife and I have been through hell and back in the 10 years we were together before marriage, and that was what made me choose her as a partner and propose in 2020. We had the best year of our lives in 2022, amazing wedding, reconnecting honeymoon. I'd really put work into our relationship and it was showing. Plus promotions and work success as we geared up for kids, unsuccessful but we're actively trying, and house buying planning. We were flying pretty high by the end of 2022. But apparently for different reasons. We became super close friends in 2019 with a couple that we'd been sort of peripheral friends with for several years before that. The dude was from my wife's work and we were extremely close with them and their kids. Once his wife became pregnant with a surprise kid over COVID, my wife and him became really close. Texting all the time, more touchy-feely than I liked, though our community is very touch-positive, so this actually bothered me the least, and hanging out on their own, her being overly concerned with his well-being when we were on trips together, etc. To my knowledge my wife has never had an affair and we'd been explicit in our monogamy over our 13 years together, always trusted her and we were doing so well. I walked in on them about to fuck at a party after everyone else had gone to sleep. Everyone was sober at this point in the night and she'd insisted we stay over. She left our spare room bed and planned to meet him downstairs as we'd stayed over at their house, with his infant and wife upstairs. I left, kicked her out immediately and forced a 72 hours hold on communication because I was worried I'd do something terrible. AP told OBS, I was going to tell her but he beat me to it, and she did the same to him. Later that week, found out from OBS that she'd subsequently learned this has been going on for 5 years, long before we got married. Multiple instances of, apparently no sex, but I think it's trickle truth, hooking up that made it clear this was way more than just friendship that made a mistake. He's one of my closest friends, on top of it all, and apparently justified to his wife that since I had told him I was happy my wife had a close friendship that was implied consent for an affair. Insane. I'm beyond devastated. It's been a couple weeks now and I'm all the things you guys have felt. I kicked her out. Weeks of drinking, crying, smashing our shit, and lots of therapy. Very thankful I've curated a truly amazing community of friends for support as well. For what it's worth, she seems genuine remorseful, took full responsibility for the damage/harm this has caused, didn't gaslight me, and has been honest with our friends and hates herself for what she's done. But the fact this went on for so long, it's not like she admitted it, I had to be traumatized by catching them, makes me feel like it's crocodile tears. After endless soul searching and feeling like I need to make a decision, I'm going to tell her I want a separation and that she needs to move out for the foreseeable future. I don't see a way we get through this, but I know that she needs to face her own demons and it's been hard to admit this has nothing to do with me, or even us. She has work to do on herself, and I can't be here for it. Maybe one day something will rise from the ashes but our relationship is destroyed. I don't see her as a partner anymore. 3 weeks ago we were trying to have kids. Insanity. I don't know what I'm asking. Update 1. I kicked her out right away. I arranged a meeting in neutral space after a 4-day cool-down period. Raged at her, didn't really give her a chance to talk. Then went no contact for another 3 weeks. After getting more gory details about their affair from the OBS, that they'd slept together for years prior, I scheduled a meeting with her and read her a letter essentially formalizing separation and logistics of it. Said I hope she does the work to fix herself because it's too late for our marriage. I didn't pull punches, but felt like I was spiraling without letting this out on her, and despite general advice to be totally NC, I think we are both better for it. She's done pretty much everything right so far, I'll give her that much. Cut off, and friends have confirmed, the affair. Not drinking, doing IC. She's an absolute wreck. Apologizing and disgusted with herself. I don't think she understands what she's really done to me, but she is very ashamed and cannot admit our 14-year relationship is over. Fully prioritizing my needs, taking responsibility, and owning up to it. Not that I can see getting through this with her or taking her back. Betrayal this deep is beyond the pale. Don't get me wrong, I don't trust her, though I do hope someday we can be amicable, but I'm just trying to set the stage. Because that's not really what this thread is about. It's about me, not her. We had everything. Money, great jobs, our relationship was amazing, active sex life, great travel partners, trying to have kids the last couple months, which she desperately wanted, looking to buy our first house, great community we nurtured. We certainly had conflict/struggle, but years of work, relationships are work, anyone who tells you different is a dipshit, had made our communication pretty solid. That's the real killer part here. She even admits it had nothing to do with us, and independently agrees we were doing better than ever. Just that she was personally depressed and sought out validation in the hands of someone who gave her a ton of attention, and got it in the most destructive and toxic way possible to me and us. I am still angry, don't get me wrong. But more so just so unbelievably sad, and in 100x the worst pain of my life. I mean that honestly. It's the grief and despair that's killing me, the loss of what we had. I think we've charted a pretty drama-free course for divorce/separation, despite the turmoil, but that's not even the point other than reducing my stress. It's the loss of a partnership. It feels like she's dead. I see her and it's just a ghost. It doesn't even matter that she's apologizing or what she's saying. There's been some hiccups and I've slipped up, handling of shared assets, friends getting roped into drama and, rightfully getting pissed, but she's respected my wishes so far and took those incidents on the chin. But I just can't get past the senseless loss of my partner, my team, that I've clearly taken for granted so long. And that it was actually gone ages ago and I didn't even know it. It's like I watched the love of my life walk out in front of a bus on purpose and afterwards I learned she was secretly an axe murderer. I cannot wish this pain on anyone. It's unimaginable. Somehow, it's worse to me because our relationship was so great. It's like the loss is just that much bigger. This was my absolute 100% teammate I did everything with, trusted with my life, been through unbelievable hardship in our 20s and early 30s, and just came off the best year of our lives, wedding, honeymoon, job success in competitive areas. It's the grief of losing that partnership, losing the partner, and losing the life I was full throttle towards. That the life I had is torn out from my grasp and now I can barely get out of bed or eat. I'm attractive, tall, fit and career accomplished with great friends and hobbies. I have my flaws but I am no stranger to female attention, but that has become increasingly irrelevant to me the past 3 to 4 years, and is why I proposed in the first place. I wanted a co-pilot, not Tinder dates. She'd proven over a decade together that she was that person in spades. I have support, a therapist and a community of friends that are showing up for me big time. But I've been through some pretty serious family trauma, and it doesn't even hold a candle to this pain and sense of loss. I know it's only been a month, but does this mountain of grief on my shoulders ever get any lighter? It just seems to get progressively harder instead. I feel like I'm drowning. Update 2. She was having an EA for 2 years, PA for 1, 5 with the husband of our closest couple friends, who she worked with for many years. I knew they were close friends but had no idea. Our marriage, 1 year, but together for 12, was going great and we were trying for kids, about to buy a house, etc. OBS was pregnant/infant at the time of the affair. I walked in on them at a party after it had wound down. January was pretty ugly for me but things have remained civil. I kicked her out immediately, got the full truth 2 weeks later but I'd connected the dots by then anyway. I wouldn't say I'm better. I've spent time with the OBS, she's been a close friend for many years and strong as all hell, and it's been healing. My sister came and stayed with me, she's amazing, friends flew out. People have really shown up, cooked for me, checked on me, stayed with me. I have a great therapist who has stepped up his game. Company helps. Being alone is tough. The loneliness after 14 years together is just brutal. We definitely had our ups and downs but we always stuck it out. On some new meds for the anxiety. Staying away from regular drinking, but we'll go out to the bar to blow off some steam with some friends and let myself drink then, maybe once a week. Exercising, eating alright, sleeping a bit better. But my WW has been pretty vulnerable and doing about what she can do. Says she's ended things with AP, she's an IC, taken responsibility for the pain she's caused, understanding and shown some grace during some tough initial conversations. I guess in some ways that's been a stress relief. She has respected the separation and left me alone. But she desperately wants to get back together. I've been pretty active in telling people what I need, including the WW, we've been NC for over a month now. But I feel like as the anger drains out of me the last couple weeks and just depression/anxiety sets in more deeply, I have less motivation to move things forward. I've already talked to a couple lawyers and we need to work out finances and assets, but somehow still feel bad about doing it. I know in my heart I couldn't take her back, since if I did it would never be how I want or deserve. But somehow watching this person I used to love just be broken is so hard to watch. It's like watching someone cut themselves, and as much as it's stupid, you just feel bad for being the one forced to put the bullet in the marriage, even though I know she did every time she chose to cheat, and never stop. I didn't choose to be alone, you know? It's like it's false freedom. I can do whatever I want now, but I was pretty damn happy having a co-pilot, sharing my life with someone I trusted more than anything. Just readjusting my life without a mission of kids and house and her and all that we wanted so badly feels overwhelming. Just so fucking stupid. Thanks, I needed this from someone who has seen a similar scenario. She's claiming it was limerence and yeah, treating it like a manic episode/very out of character for her, which in and of itself is a weird red flag. How can you flip off that switch so fast? It was a 2-year relationship that they never stopped, not a random makeout with a coworker. I think her regret and remorse are both genuine. I don't think there was any thought of leaving me. She was just incredible at compartmentalizing, and now sees the pain she's caused and it's been a wake-up call. Somehow if she'd just left me I'd feel less bad about putting a bullet in old Yeller's head, you know? You're 100% right, and I've said that to her. This was not a mistake, it was 2 years of active decisions to betray me and us, and knowing on some level it was going to destroy us. For 1,000 reasons I can't get back together, but the big one is I saw them together and I don't think I'll ever get that image out of my mind. Especially from such a close friend who betrayed me too. Lost a lot that night. She's given me the gist of the affair, and I have a full disclosure document she wrote. I haven't read it and don't plan to anytime soon. I think it will be too much pain to know different an end, and who knows if it's even the truth anyway.
But it's happened plenty of times, i.e., it wasn't a one-time thing.
I think it's easiest to think of her like an addict, and just predicting how this is going to play out. There is real remorse now for what her actions have done to me / our community and regret for what it's going to do to her life. She may never have children now. It is honestly tragic. But now that dust is settling and compassion from our friends has run low, she literally has no one except her own family, which is thousands of miles away. By all accounts of friends, she's cut contact with AP and recognizes him as toxic. But in a matter of months her community went from a dozen ride or die friends to just the AP? I get the feeling he's going to wear her down. He's continuously contacting her, he says he's in love with her and won't leave her alone, and the loneliness is going to take over, especially once it really settles in for her that we're over, once I've filed, shortly, and to be frank, it's her right to be with who she wants, though for her own sake I hope she doesn't. OBS and I have been close for many years and we're both just trying to support each other without reinforcing trauma. Hard line to walk. She has a good support system at home, is well off and started IC. She's walking her own path that's different from mine but doing what we can to help each other. AP has been the opposite of my WW. All the usual trash this forum is full of. Telling OBS it was her fault all along, he was neglected, lots of love to go around and thus not actually a big deal, pretending he's now a psychologist and telling her what she needs to heal. Just narcissistic garbage. She's filing as well. Thanks for taking the time to comment. I edited a couple things above. I'm in IC with a good therapist and have been NC for over a month. I don't think I could ever take her back. But that said, by all accounts her self-hate has become overwhelming now that the sheets have been torn off. Kind of like an addict that hates themselves when they wake up with a hangover, but will in all likelihood drink again. She's struggled with addiction, it's fitting, I figure they will probably end up together. That's also hard to watch, as the AP has shown his real colors to the OBS post-discovery and if you read my prior posts, it's bad. There's some part of me that knows that she's not my problem anymore and she's an adult with agency. But your comment is on point, watching someone you cared about, and took care of, you're right, fuck up their life so spectacularly is just painful. It's absolutely not a reason to get back together but there's no way if you have a soul and cared about that person at some point not want people to do better for themselves. It's just all been harder once the anger fades. Update 3. Our DDay was 5 months ago and she's respected our separation since then, but now demanding to come home and that she has a right to be here as much as I do. We tried an MC session to discuss but it feels like I just need to leave. She won't let go of this place as her home too. Somehow signing a year lease seems so daunting. A nice place fell out of the sky that stretches but is within my budget and meets most of my needs. But somehow now feeling like I'm weak and I just want my old fucking life back. Doing this alone after 12 years together. It feels insane, surreal, and so fucking sad it breaks me all over again. How I wish she'd never done this. I can't turn back the clock, I know that, but good lord I'd give it all to not be in this pain. Edit, we currently rent. The place fell through, but point still stands. Just a tough moment of finality. Update 4. It's been a couple weeks and things have definitely made a turn for the worse. WW had been staying at friends/family for the prior 6 weeks. I'd made it clear she needs to move out in January when we last spoke but I'd kindly store her stuff in a spare room. She'd packed it up but left it there. We'd communicated a few times via text strictly logistics only and was cordial. I sent an email about a month back asking to plan out logistics of separation, financial accounts, pets, furniture, who gets house etc. Expressed interest in amicability and just wanted to move on, heal, and process on my own. WW sent a response 3 weeks ago and love bombed the shit out of me. I left it in the air for a couple days planning, then she announced via text that she's coming home with the tone that this temper tantrum was over and I was going to listen to her and at least live together while we figured it out. Couldn't understand why we couldn't just be roommates at least. Yeah, right. I told her absolutely not, crystal clear in my boundaries. I booked a therapy session with a mediator which has turned out to be a godsend. WW expressed desire to reconcile, and that we are so much bigger than this affair. That she has been made homeless, making 2x what I make and staying with friends and family, and unfairly displaced these last 2 months. I told her flat out I want a divorce and this isn't fixable, and the mediator backed me up. Logistically, I can't afford the house we are renting anyway, and she can have it. Told her I'm aggressively looking for a place for April 1st and then I'll move out in April. I'm staying at a friend's house until then. I can't even be at my own place without crazy anxiety anymore, and think I have a great place bagged. We're trading off a few days at a time so I can keep an eye on pets and stuff. I told her that I told our landlord that I'm leaving, need a rental reference, and she lost it on me that I'm going to get her evicted. Lol, she can afford this place twice over. She called me last week freaking out. I'm abandoning her in her time of crisis. I'm running away. I'm just doing this to punish her. Had another therapy session this week. She said how unnecessary and mad she was that I'd thrown away stuff in the house while she was gone. Guys, I threw away her AP plus OBS's wedding gift to us, and a baby planning book because it gave me a breakdown. We were trying to have kids before this went down. Yeah. Unreal. I think we made some progress emotionally. I am just a broken record WRT my own boundaries, and it's definitely helped them land for her when they are reflected by a third party that calls her out on being delusional. But she's clearly hysterical and I need her on board so we can get a financial plan in place and logistically exit this with grace and dignity, which is what I'd asked for weeks ago. But holy shit, she's gone off the deep end. Just completely selfish. There's no longer empathy for what she did to me. Everything that's happened after the affair was found out as decoupled in her mind as not consequences, just injustices done to her. And while these sessions give structure to what we discuss inside and out of it, and that's really crucial right now for my own emotional safety, she just clearly sees everything as being done to her to spite her. Now, I'm moving out in 2 weeks and holy hell I can't wait to get out of this. I'm trying the patient route hoping for a better, less expensive, financial outcome, but I'm worried she's going to lose her actual mind when I get another lease. Silver lining, definitely put a bullet in any last thought I had for reconciliation before divorce. Update 5. I feel like my depression and anxiety in dealing with this insanity has really taken its toll, and despite therapy and great friends I'm feeling kind of stuck. Have any of you found these meds to be worth the side effects for something traumatic like this? In my ideal world it wouldn't be forever just to help get me through this part. Update 6. I won't recap my prior posts, you can have a look through my history, but I'll say a screenplay of the last 5 months of my life would be thrown out of the boardroom for being too unbelievable. Some highlights: during financial agreement negotiation, she tried to make me pay for her egg freezing, as we were trying to have kids and should be compensated, and future adoption fees, as well as pay back her parents' wedding gift, claiming I'd made her homeless and abandoning her in her time of need and a mental health crisis. She secretly drained our joint bank account we had a written agreement to not touch until divorce went through, and dropped this news in a planned therapy/mediation session where she told me money won't help you heal. Our therapist called me after and said she is a narcissist and told me to run as fast as possible. Somehow found out my new address. I went to a great deal of trouble to obscure, and came to my house, refused to give me my pet back, demanded my prescription meds, and to get her others she abuses. She's an addict. As part of division of assets, after blocking her, she spoofed phone numbers to call and harass me, has called me a coward for abandoning her and our future together, and still frames this as a mental health crisis for which she was entitled to help. Yeah. After writing that out, no wonder my therapist diagnosed me with PTSD. I blocked her on everything a few weeks ago, and my community has cut her out of their lives. She emails regularly still to ask if we can go back to therapy, desperate attempt to be amicable, damage control on losing friends and me, sends blog posts on how infidelity isn't that bad, and with minor pet updates. She won't give me full pet custody, it's in her name on paper, unfortunately, but is actually mine, which is an obvious attempt at continued contact via a shared setup, via pickups and drop-offs, and has broken my heart to face giving it up. As I struggle with guilt versus duty to self to avoid contact with ex at any cost. Now, me. I moved out too. 5 months ago. Some days and weeks go by and I'm happy with my new life, and I manage to distract myself from the loneliness. I try to reframe it as peace and freedom. Sometimes it's still overwhelming. Depressed, and in pain still. Sense of ennui, numbness and pointlessness of my life. I have a great therapist and a community of friends, hobbies, healthy self-care routine, but it only does so much. The OBS and I are really tight, we'd been close friends for many years before this. She's incredible and, honestly, an example of strength I aspire to. Definitely a light in my life, in more ways than one. But it's still really tough a lot of days. She filed for divorce also. Our 1-year wedding anniversary, together for 12 plus, was a couple weeks ago and it's honestly been like DDay flashbacks all over again. Very angry, depressed, consumed by the injustice of the life I worked so hard to build and the partnership I relied on, and was so proud of, being torn from my grasp, that she married me full well knowing I didn't consent to what she was doing. Grief at what I've lost. I know I have a lot to offer, my life has potential and I'm perfectly fine on my own, but that was never my choice. Many days, I'm still reeling in pain. I work out, hard, regularly, lost some weight, get outside, see lots of friends, sleeping better, no solo drinking, on some medication that helps with anxiety. It's progress, but while I wish I could say I was killing it, unfortunately, I'm not. Filing for divorce this week and getting a financial agreement together didn't even feel good, just a minor sense of accomplishment marred by concern that she's going to go ballistic and do something insane. I'm still not 75% of the way back at work and it's beginning to take its toll. I work in a demanding field, despite an understanding boss. I try to relish in the presence of my day-to-day life, not looking past the next couple of days. Compartmentalize the pain for some period so I can actually look beyond my own trauma for a minute. But I'll be honest, I am unsure if I'm moving forward now out of momentum, habit or actual genuine desire for my life path and career. I'm emotionally exhausted, like a shadow creeps at the corners of my vision and saps the zest for life I had before this happened. Obviously this person is a narcissist, clinical professionals have verified it, in fact, and I have no desire to get back together with her. I can't say I'm at May yet, it's more of an intense repulsion, who knows, hopefully one day I'll get there. But I've been grieving the loss of something more ephemeral in a partnership. Like a pillar or keystone that's been removed I'm having trouble naming but can sense its absence. Maybe it was belief or faith in myself and my path from someone I loved so deeply? It's more than just being alone. Still feeling out these scars. I read success stories here, and while I know I'm incredibly lucky in many aspects of my life, I wish I was there today. Many have it harder than me. I hope I can, and while have self-compassion for myself for not being there yet is sometimes challenging, treating it like a season to be experienced that will be over one day. Good luck out there to those of you in the thick of it. Recovery is a long, muddy, winding road. My story is in my profile. I walked in on my wife, together for 12 years, married for one, with one of our closest friends 9 months ago. I kicked her out of the house, and she was at first apologetic, perfectly framed remorse. I found out it had been going on for over 5 years, and I told her I wanted a divorce. The list of insanity that has happened since then would take 3 posts to go over, but suffice it to say she has a fully developed victim complex in which I'm the one that decided to leave and should be made to pay for everything. She claimed I made her homeless by kicking her out. She stayed with her sister. And has a very high-paying job with tons of savings and no debt. I moved out, got off our lease together, managed to get a place, and despite incredible mental health distress this year be reasonably productive at work. We made a financial agreement in April where she asked me to pay for her egg freezing costs and pay her back for her parents' wedding gift. Just a sampling of the narcissism. I refused and she paid out the remaining amount she owed me in a lump sum. I considered it done and refused all contact with her after that point, filed for divorce, had her served, separated our assets, drafted a settlement, and told her via legal service and in writing to never contact me again. She won't leave me alone, and I'm convinced she's having a mental breakdown. She found out my new address and came to my house. She's been warned 6 times to stay away and not contact me, and continues to reach out over anything she can to continue contact. I have avoided all contact with her for over 4 months now, and none of my friends talk to her anymore. She's burnt all of them, faked our mutual pet's death to them, just to argue about custody to my lawyer days later. Just 2 weeks ago she let me know via a legacy social media account that she knew I was traveling and hopes it clears my head. She's in contact with my lawyer, he handles comms with this psycho, and knows details about my current life, stuff I've bought and sold for cash, etc., that she shouldn't know about. This is bordering on stalking now. Considering a restraining order. But what's worse, honestly, is she won't sign the settlement paperwork. She's demanding I pay her legal fees. We live in a no-fault state. Ridiculous, and continues to make up new random things that I owe her money for since separation, going back on our prior informal settlement and email/harasses my lawyer daily, racking up fees for me. My anxiety gets worse by the day. I got back from travel and it hit me this is never going to end. It's bad enough the betrayal won't let me trust anyone new, and despite therapy, gym, diet, meds, and supportive friends and family, I am still raw and hurt from what she did. We had a pretty good relationship and were trying to have kids when I found out about the affair. And today, she couldn't care less about what this is doing to me. I don't even recognize this person. Despite telling her before no contact that this hurt me so badly, all I want is to heal and be left alone. This is torture. My lawyer is at a loss. She's draining me both financially and psychologically and refuses to sign paperwork. I feel like there is no way out anymore. I'm going to start some new stronger meds next week. I feel like I'm out of endurance for the turmoil she's put me through. Like I'm being ground down. I don't even know the point of this post. I am so glad I found out when I did. No kids, no house, and yet somehow this is still insanely complicated. Emotionally, I'm just beaten down.